So we finally got some time to have a think about the Rapidos that I've now been flying for around 10 hours. Sod's law, it's beautiful weather here in the UK, so I'm just shading from the sun at the moment, and we can't fly as with most people around the world. But yeah, so I've had about 10 hours now, different sites, different wind speeds, probably around 6 or 7 different sites now, ranging from winds from around, on the lighter side, 25 kilometers an hour, 26 kilometers an hour, all the way up to just short of 40 kilometers an hour. I've been flying the 13-meter size, and I weigh around 72 kilos as I am now. So all up, probably just short of 80 kilos, so fairly light. The glider, so I flew the original Rapido years ago when it first came out, and I was super impressed with its performance. Most of the lines were unsheathed on that glider, but I'm actually really happy to see that this glider now has sheathed lines all the way up, because on those trickier launches, you know, you can just take off and not have to worry about them, or if you do accidentally snag it just a little bit, it's not going to slice through any unsheathed lines. So I actually like the fact that they're all sheathed on this glider now. In terms of the risers, super simple, which again I like. You know where you need to put your hands quickly if you need to, and the speed system is super simple as well. It's got a nice big blue loop to be able to pull back into full slow trim if you need to quickly, which sometimes you do. In terms of the launch, it's super easy, so even if it's light winds or stronger winds, and doesn't matter really where you have the trimmers, it launches to where you need it to be, even if it's not in the perfect laid out situation as well, which I kind of like. You know you're going to get off the ground and get off the ground easily, and similar to the original Rapido, because the performance is now there in terms of sync rate and glide, you come off the ground a little bit quicker compared to something like the Phaser series of gliders. Yeah, when you're launching in the lighter winds, sometimes you do just need to give it a little check on the brakes, just a little bit to stop it going a bit too far, but for anyone who's flying a glider like this, they should be able to cope with that super easy. It's no bother at all, or not even a thought really. I think this would be perfect for someone who's maybe done a season or two on something like the Phaser glider, and even someone who's maybe done some flying on a smaller, highly loaded Zero could probably come to a bigger size of the Rapidos, like the 13 or the 15 meter. I actually really like the fact there's now a bigger size of the Rapidos 15. I think it just opens up this type of glider to a wider range of people, I think. Ground handling the glider in strong winds and light winds, again, is pretty easy for the type of pilot this is aimed at. Even when it is a little bit gusty as well, because it's quite precise on the brakes, you can put the glider exactly where you want to. So if it is gusty or a little bit turbulent, as the wing moves a little bit, you can just stop it exactly where you want it to be stopped. And I think the biggest thing I like about it is just the range that you can fly in. So I've been flying in probably around 26 kilometers an hour on a small sheer cliff, up to 36 kilometers an hour on the 13 meter, and I'm fairly light on it really. So I think that range makes it really versatile, which I really enjoy. And even the difference of speed range you have from min sync all the way up to trim, you get that extra bit of speed, quite a lot of extra speed, and then you have the trimmers on top of that, which is really nice. And then as soon as you put it into a sharp turn, like most smaller speed wings, you can sync out the sky if you want to, or you can glide if you want to. So it's predictable, which is what I like. Most of the usual maneuvers are fairly easy as well. So obviously the smaller glider you get, normally barrel rolls and things like that are fairly easy. Even though this is a 13 meter, which is on the bigger size of the speed wings, this still rolls really nice. And I find that just a short 360 or 270 degree diving turn into a barrel roll, and you get really nice airy barrel rolls with this size, which, yeah, again, fills you with confidence because you can put the glider exactly where you want to, when you want to. Oh yeah, the one thing which I'd say has been improved, even more so over the original Rapido, is the brake range. So like I was saying, you can have the speed if you want to, a speed and glide, or when you're coming in on a tricky windy top landing, you can go really deep on the brakes to get your glide angle or sync rate exactly where you need to, and lead up, and you know that profile was still super strong even in those slow airspeed stages. and you can be super accurate with it, which you can do on other gliders, but not with the same confidence that I found doing it on the Rapidos kind of gives you and instills in you. Yeah, following on from the risers using fully sheathed lines, what I quite like about this one, again, it's standard weight cloth, so there's no worry about having to be super careful with it on those trickier launches. And yeah, that just again puts more focus on your launch and where you're going and the flying rather than on the equipment, which is really nice. Last bit in terms of landing, super easy, it's super fun. If you've got that extra height, you can release the trimmers and do a bit of a diving swoop landing, or you can keep the trimmers in if you really want to eke out your glide and get to a harder to reach landing spot. I think that's the biggest thing I'm being surprised of, is actually the glide performance at a higher speed on this compared to other gliders. This gives you real good confidence in the wing for sure. And going back to the point around the brake range when you're coming into land, whether it's nil wind or strong wind, because you've got such good authority on the brakes. If it's light wind, you have a really nice flare. If it's strong wind, you can similarly just kill the glider quickly if you need to. This is so much fun. It just puts a massive smile on your face every single time I've flown it, whether that's in light winds or strong winds, or top to bottoms or soaring. Immediately just puts a smile on your face.